For example of cilia is paramecium. Paramecium move by beat their cilia in rhythmic manner to swim. Paramecium also have trichosis, which contain in the oval capsule that lie just beneath the pellicle. Paramecium feed by ingesting their food. The cilia sweep the food particle down the gullet below which food particle form. Soluble nutrients which product of digestion are absorbed, while non-digestible residue is eliminated through anal pore. The second example of ciliate is protozoan. The range size of protozoan is from 10 to 3000 micrometer. Protozoan is free-living, mobile, and single-cell. The meaning of mobile here, it can move from one place to another place. Protozoan also exists as parasitic, social, and colonial. There is three examples of protozoan, which is Sucrotaria, Panther, and Lycoropteris. Sucrotaria are sessile ciliates that have specialized microtubules for capturing, paralyzing, and ingesting other ciliates. Stentor is the most elaborate ciliates that resembling a giant vase. Cilia at the opening of the vase sweep in food particles. They are one of the largest single protozoan, reaching length of 2 mm. Lycotrobius is ectoparasitic protozoan that cause a common disease in fish called ick. It left untreated and it can be fatal. We move to the reproduction of ciliates. Ciliates reproduce by asexual reproduction by means of binary fission. Ciliates also reproduce by sexual reproduction. During sexual reproduction, the micronuclei undergo meiosis. Sexual reproduction involves conjugation between two ciliates that exchange haploid micronuclei. After conjugation, the macronuclei dissolve and new macronuclei are formed from the fusion of the micronuclei.
Okay, now with me, Jasnita. Now let's move to the third example of alveolate, which is apicomplexan. Apicomplexan is known as sporozoan. These species are non-motile parasite and spore-forming photozoan. Apicomplexan have a unique organelle called an apicoplast. Apicoplast is used to penetrate the host cell. Apicomplexan are parasite of animal and some can infect the multiple hosts. The example of apicomplexan is Plasmodium, Cyclosporiasis, and Toxoplasma gondii. Okay, now we move to Plasmodium. Plasmodium is responsible for malaria. Plasmodium is a parasite protozoan that infects human red blood cells. For example, the chill and fever of malaria appear when the infected cell bursts, and this release the toxic substance into the blood. Most common, malaria caused by Plasmodium vivax, and the transmission cycle of Plasmodium involves the Anopheles mosquito. Okay, now we look at reproduction of Plasmodium. The life cycle of Plasmodium alternate between asexual and sexual phase. Okay, the sexual phase occur in mosquito, while the asexual phase occur in the human. Okay, it occurs when the female Anopheles mosquito acquire protein for the reproduction of egg by bites human. Okay, now we look at the life cycle of Plasmodium vivax. The female Anopheles mosquito acquire protein for the production of egg by biting human or other animals. First, in the gut of female Anopheles mosquito, gamete fuse and zygote undergoes many divisions to produce sporozoite, which migrate to her salivary gland. When the mosquito bites human and then inject the sporozoite into the bloodstream and then the liver of the host cell. Next, merozoite produced in the liver cell and it enter the bloodstream and then the red blood cell where they feed as trophozoite. Then, when red blood cell rupture, merozoite invade and reproduce asexually into new red blood cells. And then merozoite and toxin pour into the bloodstream. And you can see that some merozoite become gametocyte. And if it taken by mosquito, it will become gametes. Okay, now we look at the second example of apicomplexan, which is cyclosporiasis. Cyclosporiasis is an infection of intestine caused by Cyclospora cyathinaceae. Okay. The cyclosporin parasite is transmitted by feces contaminated fresh produce and water. Okay, in United States, outbreak of cyclosporiasis has been attributed to contaminated fresh raspberries, basil, snowpeas, and musculonatus. Then the last example of apicomplexan is Toxoplasma gondii. Toxoplasma gondii caused by toxoplasmosis, which is transmitted to humans from the feces of infected cat. In pregnant women, this parasite can infect the fetus and cause birth defect and intellectual disability. Then in the 8 patient, this parasite can infect brain and cause neurological problems. Okay, now we look at Rhizarian. Rhizarian is the organism with fine and thread-like pseudopod. Rhizarian consists of foraminiferan and radiolarian. Okay, both foraminiferan and radiolarian have a skeleton called a test. This test is made of calcium carbonate, and this test forms a layer of sediment deep on the ocean floor. The presence of test is used as an indicator of oil deposit on land and sea. Okay, now we look at foraminiferan. In the foraminiferan, the calcium carbonate test is multi-chamber. The pseudopod extends through the opening in the test, which cover the plasma membrane. Foraminiferan can be used as index fossil to dead sedimentary rock. For example, foraminiferan deposit form the White Cliff of Dover. And the second example is foraminiferan found in the pyramid known as nummulites. And the last one is radiolarian. The glassy silicon test is internal and usually has a radial arrangement of spin. And the pseudopod of radiolarian are external to the test.